Hello and welcome to 8 weeks postpartum. I can't believe it's 2 months. Devin is 2 months old and he is a delight. I have him in my arms right now. He's half asleep. He was sleeping and then he woke up right when I started this video. Um, and I will show him to you at the end of the video. So I have a lot to talk about. I have a lot on my mind. And so this video will be a two-parter. And the first part of the video, of course, I'm putting out today. And then probably in the middle of next week, Tuesday or Wednesday, I'll do part 2 of this video. And the reason why I'm doing 2 parts is because, again, I have so much to say and a lot on my mind. So this video, I even have notes. Like, usually I just sort of speak, you know, from my heart, from my head, and I still will do that, but I have notes to kind of keep me organized this time around. So this video will be just an update on myself and little Devin, and also a brief recap of my entire pregnancy journey. And the next video, which again I will do next week, will talk more specifically about the last 4 weeks of my pregnancy all the way up until labor and delivery. I will be answering specific questions that I received via email. And for those of you who wonder, I do get your emails. It's been sort of hard to respond back. I think one day I got like 23 emails related to just different things, what I like, products that I use, and advice, since I'm a mother of 5. And I am truly honored that that you guys are asking me this stuff. I mean, just because I have 5 kids does not make me an expert, but I am so willing to share my experience, and my opinions, if you want to know them, with you on different subjects. So the next video, again, which will come out next week, will be on that and answering your questions. So Devin has grown, and which babies are supposed to grow, right? But I mean, he is really growing. And the picture that I posted at the very beginning of this video, you can see how big his cheeks are and also how big his smile is. He's starting to smile. He actually started smiling interactively about a little over a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. Before, he would smile spontaneously in his sleep, or, you know, smile. Sometimes he'll be staring at something and then he'll smile. But now, if you say something funny to him, or if you know, just talk to him and look at him in his eyes, if you make faces at him, he smiles. And his smile is so big that his bottom lip quivers and even his tongue shakes a little bit, and it's kind of funny. He definitely likes my silly songs, and you know, my older kids think I'm crazy, but I tell them, you know, when you see me with Devin, you are seeing your own babyhood, babyhood, because when you guys were babies and infants, I was doing the exact same thing with you guys that I'm doing with Devin. And when you guys were babies, you liked my made-up silly songs, and so it hasn't changed. Devin likes my made-up silly songs, and he even is starting to giggle a little bit, which is kind of funny. Let's see, he had his 8-week, or I need to stop talking in weeks now, it's months. He had his 2-month checkup last week, a little shy of 8 weeks. I think he was 7 weeks, 4 days. And he did receive his vaccinations. He's 13 pounds, 3 ounces, at least when he was weighed on that day. He's probably gained a few more ounces since then. He is growing well, and he nurses very well. Breastfeeding is going beautifully with him. He's eating about every 3 to 4 hours, and at night he does sleep in long stretches, 4 to 5 hours at night, which is beautiful, and he's been doing that for a while. He doesn't really he's not a picky baby. He's not a fussy baby at all. When he got his shots, he didn't cry. He just kind of squeaked. I can't squeak like him. Squeak is one of his nicknames. And, I thought, wow, this is easier than I thought. But then once we got home, that one shot, and I forget which one it was, that left that knot in his leg, was really sore, and he was fussy all night. And I held him and rocked him and held him and nursed him and held him all night. He was fussy. But the next day he was back to his old self, and so it wasn't really that bad. And so I hope uh, that it won't be so bad when he gets his shots at 4 months. Um, he has grown out of his newborn clothes, of course. He's 2 months today, and he is wearing 3 month clothes. He's been wearing 3 month clothes for the past week and a half or so. Some of the 3 month clothes fit him perfectly, and some of them are too big for him. Like, he's in between newborn and 3 months. But yeah, I have to now fold up and box up all of his newborn clothes, um, and get him ready for the next phase, next size up. Um, he is a joy. I love playing with him. In the mornings, we get up because I get the kids up around 6:30, and after I send them off to school, he and I sit in the glider, in the rocking chair, and I nurse him, and I talk to him, and I sing to him. Sometimes I don't say anything to him. I just rock quietly with him, and I really enjoy those moments. These are moments that I really didn't get to have with my other kids. For whatever reason, I didn't get to have like that quietness in the morning. I love my rocking chair. It's one of my favorite times of the day is when I get to spend that time with Devin, rocking. Let's see. Devin has gets tummy time every day, and he is pushing himself up, holding his head up. He's hitting all of the milestones for 2 months, and some of the 3 month milestones and 4 month milestones. Believe it or not, he's trying to roll over to his back, and he almost did it yesterday, and that's pretty early for that particular milestone, rolling onto your back. But he does love tummy time. For Christmas, he got an activity center, and I didn't write down the name, but if I remember, it's the Fisher Price Ocean Wonders Activity Center. It's a 3-in-1 activity center, where he can have his tummy time, and then you lay him on his back, and you can hang the toys, and he bats at the toys. And then when he gets a little bit older and starts crawling, it turns into a tunnel that he can crawl through. And he loves lying on his back and trying to swat at the toys. And I'll probably make a little video of him doing that. You should see how interested he is in, just the hand-eye coordination and trying to reach those toys, and he seems to love it, and he can stay down there for a good 30-40 minutes without being bothered, and without getting fussy. So that's something that he likes to do. Something else that I like to do with him is read. I read a lot to him, and I'm also signing to him. So I'll read the book first in English, and then I will sign the book to him. Sometimes I try to sign at the same time, but if I'm holding him, it's kind of hard to sign. For me to sign with one hand, I can, but it's sort of hard. So he loves to hear books, and lately I've been reading this book series with my 12-year-old and my 9-year-old called Big Nate. And every night I read a chapter to the boys, and he's right there with us, and he is paying attention to the story as if he understands the storyline, and it's really great to see how interested he is when you read to him. And I also sign to him because I am a sign language interpreter. For those of you who are just joining my channel, because I notice I have some new people on my channel that have subscribed to my channel, I am a sign language interpreter, and so I sign to him, and my goal is to try to encourage him to become bilingual, which would be the first time that I will have a child that's bilingual. So he definitely is intrigued and pays attention. I sign mama, and I'm signing with my left hand. I usually and I am left-handed, but I usually sign right-handed. But you know, I sign Mama, and I sign Devin. I fingerspell his name to him all the time. And you know, when I change his diaper, I'm always signing when I change his diaper. He loves it, and so as long as it doesn't make him fussy, as long as he loves it, I'm gonna keep doing it. So that's the update on Devin. I wanted to talk briefly just about my thoughts on this whole journey of having a baby and having a baby at my age. For those of you who just joined my channel, if you scroll, if you go all the way back to the beginning, my first two videos I talk about, and now I'm going to, because I'm starting to get uncomfortable holding him like this, so I'm going to hold him up. I talk a little bit about, a lot, it's a two-parter, about my fertility journey and how this whole journey started off with 2 losses in October of 2010, and then again in January of 2011. I had miscarriages, and so those 2 videos I go into detail about what happened. But those, you know, those were devastating, of course, and you know, but something that I did not share that I wanted to share with you today. In October, when I had that miscarriage, and after I healed a little bit, I went to my favorite spot on the beach at the ocean. There's one of my videos in my pregnancy journal where I recorded myself at the beach in my car. Well, I went to that spot, and there's also a spot where I go to think, to plan, to just decompress, to dream. And I went to this spot, and the spot, usually when I go, no one else is there, and so I can scream, I can talk out loud, I can, you know, do all the stuff that would make me look crazy if I did it in a park. Okay, I took a piece of paper and I wrote down, I want my baby back. And I buried it in the sand near the ocean, near where the wet sand and the dry sand met. I buried it deeply, and I kind of let it go. Now, what did I mean by I want my baby back? It does not mean that the specific children that I lost in October 2010 and January 2011, it didn't mean that I wanted those specific physical babies back. What it meant was the idea, the desire, and the dream of having another child. Remember, when I first, in 2010, found out I was pregnant, it was a huge surprise because my husband and I were not planning on having any more children. And then when I lost that child, we thought we would try again. And so after the first miscarriage, I did that. I wrote on a piece of paper, I want my baby back. It was just my way of sending out my desire into the universe, letting it go, and seeing what happens. When I got pregnant the second time in January, I thought, okay, this is the answer. Okay, it was meant to be. But then I had another miscarriage, and I thought that that was the answer. Okay, it's not meant for me to have another baby. So Devin was not planned. Because we stopped trying, and it's when we stopped trying is when he came. I remember when I got that big fat positive pregnancy test, how again surprised I was because we weren't planning after those 2 losses. But I was so happy, but I was also scared because of my experience previously, and decided to just not get too excited. But at 6 weeks, when I saw his heartbeat and Dr. Justice told me that, you know what, this is it, I think this is going to work, it became a wonderful thing. The pregnancy itself, the entire pregnancy, was beautiful. And it was textbook, really. I mean, I had the morning sickness, but I only had it for a few weeks. It went away. The end of first trimester and second trimester was was just absolutely beautiful. I was able to work. I had the energy. Third trimester, I started to slow down as we do, but I was enjoying feeling him kick and feeling him move. And every time I went to the doctor, I got a peek, because I had a perinatologist, so I got to see him at every visit on the ultrasound screen. Towards the end of the pregnancy, I got beautiful 3D pictures of him, and it was wonderful. And I think the only hiccup, I think, in my whole pregnancy experience was the hit and run, drunk driver accident, if you want to call it, where he crashed into my car. And it could have been worse than what it was. But that, I believe, was probably the only majorly negative part. And I guess the other part that probably was a hiccup in my pregnancy was my desire to have a water birth. I really wanted to have a water birth, and I did research, and I sought out opportunities where I could have a water birth, and it just did not work out. And even the opportunity of having a water birth at home was presented to me, but that didn't work out. And so I guess the emotional ups and downs of going through that was another little hiccup. But all in all, when I look back on my whole experience, the whole pregnancy experience, it was beautiful, and it was poetic. It was what was meant to be. And being 39 years old, 38 while I was pregnant, and then I'm 39 now, it was a wonderful way to end my 30s. I think about that because I honestly was not planning on having any more kids after my 9-year-old. It was like, that's it. Never thought about it, at least. Now I say that he's my fifth and final, but every once in a while, and I just celebrated my 17-year anniversary with my husband, and at our dinner, we were talking about whether or not we wanted to try in 5 years for a daughter. At this point, I can tell you I don't want to do it again. And with the next video, when I talk specifically about my labor and delivery experiences and things I would do differently, and I keep thinking about that labor, and 18 hours of it I went through naturally and not progressing. I don't know if I could do it one more time, but we'll see. But this is special to me, and I'm happy that I was able to, and very lucky, very fortunate to be able to give life still, 20 years later, after I began my childbirth odyssey, I should say, my childbirth journey, that I'm still able to give life and to have beautiful children and hopefully raise, wonderful, healthy, respectful young men that will contribute to this world, and that these 5 boys that I have will carry on our legacy, even after we're gone. And so that means so much to me. And again, I went through all this just to encourage the mothers that are struggling with their fertility. Whether you decide to pursue getting help with fertility or doing this naturally, whatever your journey is, just please know, and please don't give up. Please know that things are still possible. Don't give up, because after that second miscarriage, basically we gave up. But when I buried that note in the sand and sent out that desire into the universe, I was heard. Because here he is, and I couldn't be happier. Look at my hair. It's just, So anyway, anyhow, here is Mr. Devin. I'm gonna turn this way because he's sleeping. Can you see how big his cheeks are? He's a big boy, and he's a sweetie. And we all love him. His brothers love him. Daddy loves him. And I'm just happy that he's here. And I'm happy to share this journey with you guys. Thank you for listening to me rambling There's really so much more I want to say, but I'm going to cut it short because we're going on 20 minutes, and this is probably the longest video I've ever done. Part 2 will come out next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, somewhere in there. I will answer your questions. But if you have any other questions, you know where to send them, right here. You can email me, and thank you so much, and I will see you next week. All right. Thank you. I'll talk to you soon. Hey, bye-bye, Devin. Hopefully he'll be awake for the next video, okay? All right. Bye-bye, you guys.